We go to like I've been in the same. It's not even it's been too low. People within last year, safety.
Perfect. Okay. Good. Yep, you're right. Excellent. Yeah, that scared me.
Digitize everything. Yeah, have fun. Right. Some people do. But it was on a different project. Okay, they were trying to.
Hello. Hey, you got me up live?
I thought you were gonna. Like, do you know when I was gonna do it?
Thank you.
Okay. It's like, what?
First time this time.
I got another.
Okay.
I'll go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, everybody, if you please rise for the pledge of allegiance. And then after we're done with the pledge, you can please remain standing. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic that stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Unfortunately, we had two members of our community passed away just in the last week. First one is Curtis Pajanik, who used to be on the Board of Assessment Review here. He also loved Westbury area. So he was a long-time resident of Thornbury. We also, unfortunately, this past Monday, lost Tom McKay. He was a member of this board, very long time. Excellent man, very much a gentleman. He's a lifetime resident of the town of Barry as well. He is going to be very, very much missed. He was a man who had no hidden agendas or anything else. He was on this board. He worked for the town. Wasn't for whatever he felt was the way things were going. He worked for the town for the best, for the most of the majority of the people of this town. So, you would please 2 moments of silence for those two members and their families. Okay, thank you. Okay. Bills. Favorite time. Everybody had a chance to look them all over, correct? I heard that.
Yeah, I just had one thing that I will still move to pay the bills, but just for future, um I'm and it's not a huge thing. It's like $16 or $17. And I appreciate that you purchase locally from Sweet Alley's the donuts for the Monroe ambulance meeting. But I guess that I don't feel comfortable with like in the future purchasing refreshments for using town funds. I just would prefer if we didn't, just because there are so many meetings and there's so many different things that I just don't really feel comfortable using town funds for that type of purpose.
I know when I've attended some of the other supervisors meetings they have provided, I did not ask how they pay for those refreshments, but they have provided them, and I just thought it'd be a nice thing. I had all the central and eastern supervisors here. And so I provided some donuts and water. So noted. Anything else?
Pay the bills.
This is the document you have them sign is right here, right? Okay, now, in our workshop, we talked about the tiller funds and taking ARPA to pay for them.
Yes.
So I would like to amend that motion to also include ARPA funds being utilized to pay for the tiller.
Why don't I do it? No problem. I move that we pay the bills with ARPA funds being paid.
Tiller, right? Yeah. Want to make sure I had the right term. Or, yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Minutes, everybody have a chance to read those over.
John and I want to get these, but once he saw them, he just added things, doesn't change what the minutes say, just added, since I wasn't here in July. Just like on the comprehensive master plan, he added that it was regarding hiring Bella. He also added that you advertise for planning board, zoning board, and the council. So that's all been changed. Just like I said, it was just additional information, so it doesn't change the minutes as written, just additional info. Just so you know, that'll be added.
Do I hear a motion then? Margaret makes the motion.
I'll second it.
Gary seconds it. All in favor? Opposed? So carried. Okay, old business. Hemlock Ridge Solar. Nothing to report at this time. Still at a standstill. Baird Solar Project. I inquired about what's the status because they were talking about getting things moving. Bridget and I are going to be in on a meeting tomorrow with those people involved from AES to find out what is going on. She said in her email that they pulled the driveway. Does that mean that they've approved it? So we'll know more after tomorrow's meeting. Heritage Wind. Anything, dear?
The letter, we're allowed to share about that, right? It came out on Friday. So,
This letter?
yeah, that letter.
With the new map.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is, so at our last meeting, Carmen O'Keefe came and she shared that, they were going to be changing the layout of the project, removing some turbines. One of our major concerns with the major modification that they had originally presented was that they were seeking a waiver of the setback from some of the setback from non-participating parcels. So the changes that have been made, they have removed some turbines and they've moved some turbines. And there is an updated map that they have shared with us. And that there are they're looking at 28 turbines now, and they are no longer looking at the 6.8 megawatt. They are now looking at a 6.0 to 6.2 megawatt turbine, still the Vesta 160. And they have not submitted any of this officially to ORES at this time. They said that they plan to do that probably the end of this month. And then from there, we'll see, there's a lot of questions as far as what exactly will happen from that standpoint. Is this something that we can put on the website, on our website, like the letter and the map,
Yeah.
so that residents who are interested can take a look at it and see what they're currently thinking? It's not there is more information that they'll submit when they submit to ORES, but it was them filling us in on where they are currently.
Yeah, we'll put.
Yeah.
This right here. There's the letter and the official map shows that, and shows that Tower 1, Tower 16, and Tower 31 turbines are eliminated from the layout. And it's also in here. They also put down that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the wind turbines will be moved a few hundred feet one way or another.
And I did not ask, it wasn't clear to me in that, and I looked at the map, but I was still, I wasn't able to actually ascertain if those movements are from the original project that was approved, or from the movement was from their major modification locations. So I'm not sure. That was what I said. Cause then I didn't know then if there were, cause there were other turbines that had been moved. Like, cause there were they took out 6, added in 4, but moved an additional 10, I believe. And that didn't cover all of them, so I wasn't really sure. Yeah. Okay.
Anything else on Heritage? Water District number 10, we're gonna talk about further down under new business. So I'm gonna skip by that. RTO, Carrie, you had something? I've got something.
Yeah, mine was just, it was mainly in regards to ARPA, because we had talked about we would like all residents to have internet access, just kind of trying to figure out what the cost would be for residents to connect up with this new potential service. And they were at the county fair, and I happened to stop and talk, and I just got an estimate that it'll probably cost around $550 for the initial connecting up. It does depend, that's not like a set or solid price. It depends on how far you are from the towers. They have like radiuses, depends on how strong of a transmitter you'll need. But they have alternative options for like, $9.99 a month instead of the everything up front. But it's just some information that I had, just so that we could kind of see where things are gonna fall out price point wise.
Okay, and I also, once again, because we have our resident Ospreys up there. at this time, October is about the latest, but according to the project manager, he told me that they're hoping they've got some of the equipment they were able to put up. But they gotta wait till the Ospreys are gone. He's talking about maybe mid-September. We should be up and online in September, by late September. Two things I talked to him about. One was the funding I had heard about, and he forwarded to me, RTO did. Now, it is called Ambient Broadband. Ambient Broadband. Is the company locally for the county that is taking care of getting all this set up county-wide. The two things we talked about was one, and this is going to be on our website as well, is that the United Way has received funding, and they're utilizing that funding to help those at moderate and low income to pay for the setup that Carrie was talking about. So they'll be able to apply through United Way for that assistance, for that equipment, if they so wish. Now, I was also talking to them about, is this going to provide 100% coverage for the whole town? And he said, more than likely, no. Reason being is if you're buried away, if your home is surrounded by trees, that the trees, the leaves will interfere with the signal. What they will do if you apply for this, they have some site people that will come on out and take a look at where the antennas, like for the town of Barry, it's the water tower and the communications tower out on Hemlock Ridge. So they'll take a look to see what is the best location like for this box you have to get, and if it is at all feasible for that resident to be able to hook up to them. So it is not a done deal. It won't be 100% depending on your location, where you do live, once again. So I asked him, what about like AM and FM frequencies? They travel through the woods and everything, the homes. People listen to their radios. And he said it's because of the frequency. And the the federal government agency that takes care of FCA, FCC, thank you. I was close. The FCC controls the bandwidth, and their bandwidth is not as strong as what you have for AM and FM radios, so therefore it can't. Those waves could pass through a leaf of a tree versus their bandwidth cannot pass through the leaves of trees. So they will check out your site and make sure that they are able to get this reception that they should get if they want to sign up with ambient broadband. And as I said, this is going on our website as well. There's 2 pages, how to contact the United Way here in Orleans County. Phone number, there's an email address. So you're able to do it. And there's also their website. So you'll be able to contact them. And like I said, it would be end of September at the earliest that we might be able to get online with this. Okay. New business. I was talking with the electrician last month. Only been a week into this month. About getting these new lights that we budgeted for in here as well as in the foyer. Getting rid of these canister lights that have caused structural problems in this building for a long time because of the heat they produce, and putting in LED can lights, for lack of a better word. He's all ready to go with it. We found out that National Grid is offering an incentive where we get some reimbursement on it. It has to go through a certain program. There are only 2 electrical companies that are going to be offering this in our area. Both of them are in Genesee County. So they had to go to school with National Grid to find out how to do the paperwork and what lights or systems will be honored in this reimbursement plan. And that schooling was today. So I will have more of an answer after today when the electrician has a chance to talk with them and find out what the procedure will be. But we will be able to get some of our money reimbursed to us through National Grid.
Do we have to pay the balance?
No.
Yeah. That's the
Cost of the equipment,
labor.
okay.
Less energy. And it started at 75%. Now we already have to change from T12 to T8s and now to LED. And we kept putting it off and finally said 95%. Take it. Yeah. So it does work for you. Rebate from.
We've already proved that, right? So it's-
Yes.
I would say the pay, at least 75. But, yeah, but pay it, we paid it off because I just like to see the monthly bills the same.
You see it go down.
And like, yeah, and then see it go down as if you pay it off that way. Then they can start to cap it off.
Okay. Next, we had put in an advertisement in the paper as per last board meeting. They had till the end of business today to submit their letters of interest for the planning board, the zoning board, and the comprehensive plan committee. As of the close of business today, we have received 1 for the planning board, 1 for the zoning board of appeals, and 4 for the comprehensive plan committee. So that's what we have at this time. Okay. For the comprehensive plan. For the planning board, we have 1 opening there. And for the zoning board, we had 1 opening there. So that should take care of it. And both names and their letters will be forwarded to those chairpersons for those 2 committees. Okay. Next. Unfortunately, this is getting dragged out even longer, but we have to follow specific protocol. For Water District 10, we have to do a resolution identifying Water District 10 for a public hearing. We have to select a date and a time. Is this the right month? Yes, it is. Son of a gun. Okay, today is the 9th. For us to, if we put this advertisement in the paper, which is what we have to do, we have to put this resolution in the paper have the public hearing, and then Bridget can apply to the comptroller's office so that we can move this along. So we need 10 days from the date of publication to the public hearing. If we put this, well, not if, we will put it in the paper in the next couple of days. Batavia Daily doesn't publish on Mondays or Sundays. So that means the 15th at the earliest is when it would be published. 10 calendar days is the 25th. That's a Friday. So possibly the 28th, Monday, for a public hearing on the Water District 10.
I can do that.
Okay. So we'll say the 28th. 28th day of August. Time.
7.
We're gonna have a lot of.
6. 7. I'm looking at it because Scott's got to be here as well. Everybody know who Scott is. You can throw your darts at him now.
So you can look at.
How the heck you gonna do that?
Let's listen.
Teleportation.
Someone. So I guess my 6.
Then maybe the 29th. Tuesday night. We don't have court then. Or wait a minute. No, court's Thursday then. Anybody? 29th, Tuesday? We're staying away from Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Okay, 29th for the public hearing then. Scott?
I mean,
30, yeah.
I think so. That was something. Based on what we-
30 homes, 57 parcels. I have 57 parcels, 30 residences being hooked up. Out to 47. 30 residents of one, which is 14 vacant buildings.
I'll take some.
7 p.m.? 7 p.m. is good.
And will they get the letter that we saw for the pricing and everything? That they'll be informed of that before this is.
They'll be informed. Yes, yes, definitely. My phone will probably stop ringing off the hook on that water district.
Like, what about?
It's more than what.
What? What's that? It went up $300. The debt service would be $300 more per year. I thought it'd be greater than that. It surprised me. It's unfortunate it has. Okay, then. I'm not going to read this whole resolution. So I'm going to jump through a few parts of it here. You got that? Resolution to adopt the order that you have in your hand right now.
Yep.
Yep, that is the resolution one passed. So, but it is still a resolution calling for a public hearing. Resolution to adopt order form. Which that the shortened version is the resolution calling for a public hearing.
Okay, so anyways, this resolution calling for a public hearing on Water District 10 for informing the public in that water district of the increase in cost will be held on the 29th of August at 7 p.m. here at the town hall. Margaret May, yeah. All in favor? Opposed? So carried. I need everybody's signature on that document. Page 2 and page 3. Yeah. That's right. Scott here. He's the engineer for Water District 10. Anybody have any questions on any part of that?
Okay, so I read through the resolution and I remember looking at the report way back when we were originally discussing it. There weren't changes to the layout or design, or were there?
We changed the forms to update costs based on the weather conditions. There was single home review for serve as a pilot district for the water district. I think I updated the cost of the pipe to permanent. No change to the product itself layout.
And was there anything that you were saying, like that rural development came back with that was surprising, or everything was pretty
So
standard,
they issued a letter of conditions.
like conditions wise?
The new conditions are the interest rate is almost exactly the same. We gave 500.
500,000
500,000 loan and 5 for
in grant.
500 grant. 500.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions for Scott?
Same challenge, increase in costs and
Yeah, so I've been involved in quite a few.
Right.
Oh, so Tom Bird was essentially the exact same situation. He was well, good project, over budget, on that, got one on the construction. Byron saw what was coming, they requested additional funding while we're still working on design. So that ended up working out there. They got additional funding, got it good, it's a part, they did that requesting money. Nothing else.
okay. Just curious from your expertise.
Anything you want to share with us on that? This Water District 10 is taking forever. Scott, out of curiosity, recently, now that we're getting a little further out of COVID, Has the comptroller's office been a little bit more diligent about getting these processed a little bit quicker? Because Water District 9 took us a long time to get out of their office. So we can't do anything until they approve. That's better than over a year in Water District 9. Okay. 6 to 8 months. So what we're looking at, if we get the final approval from the comptroller, we're looking at then next summer of putting this in the ground. Okay. Anybody else, anything? Thank you, sir, very much. Okay, next. Line transfers. Everybody's received those. Any questions on them whatsoever?
Is there any, I know we're transferring funds from the contingency for Dale's computer. Also, I want to say thank you for doing the little red of where things are coming from, where things are going from, what they're for. It just made it really easier to see.
No, don't thank me.
Lee,
Thank Lee. Lee
Thank you,
is the
Lee.
one involved with that.
because it did just make it easier when looking through it. And I was just curious if we've been getting more interest than we had budgeted or expected. I didn't know if we could, instead of dipping into the contingency fund, if we could take that the money for that from the interest revenue.
I don't know. Seeing how I'm not an accountant.
It's not I mean, it's not necessarily like if we can't, it's not end of world, but I just thought that might be, I'd prefer to pull it from there than the contingency.
Well, the contingency is just the extra money that we have sitting there. Is that like slush fund, for lack of better
Right.
words, that we can utilize rather than yanking out of our New York class funding that we have. And as you take a look over on the second page, you'll see that down here under the DA 9950.9 highway, transferring that $61,076 and putting that into New York class so we can collect more interest off of that. We've got the funds. We might as well use those rather than taking away from where we're collecting interest. And as George pointed out last board meeting, he was talking about if we have any other place where we can pull funds from and put them in the New York class, because we are getting some good interest rates. In fact, I'll pass this down so everybody can take a look at it. That's as of today. I ran it off for tonight's board meeting. And that's New York class on the money we have and the interest we have collected since we opened the account mid-January. So I would prefer that we utilize the funds we have at this time that are collecting a lot less interest rather than pulling them from New York class where we're getting a much higher interest.
Okay. I was just thinking, just for like it's really not a huge deal. It was just an idea.
Oh,
I guess what, we're not throwing up any red flags by how much interest. I think that's what, the state says, whoa. How are you guys doing this?
no.
Okay.
Nope, not at all. Okay, so are there any other questions about the line transfers. Then do I hear a motion?
The contingency fund is not in our budget at all. Like, we don't have it in the budget. I guess that my understanding was like contingency fund is like the like leftover from last year funds that, like you were saying, like that slush fund, and I
Yeah.
guess that I would prefer to um in my mind I was thinking it's like pulling from your savings account rather than using your like checking account. You know what I'm saying? Like it's um and I just felt like, the interest were, I think it's like 500% of what we had, or even more than that, 5,000% of what we had budgeted for interest. Like we've gotten a lot more interest than what we had budgeted. That's
Yes.
what I'm saying. And so I was just thinking that's that's a line item that we are higher in that we could pull those funds from.
That's true, but like I said, I mean, this money is sitting here and it's not really doing anything for us. So we can take the money from the lesser account rather than moving it from the account that is collecting a lot of interest. I mean, let that money continue to work for us. Okay. Do I hear a motion then? Margaret makes the motion. Do I hear a second? Dave seconds it. All in favor? Opposed? So carried. Okay, next. Having to do with the planning board's recommendation. Whoops. One page. Planning board's recommendation for the hiring of Labella. It was tabled last board meeting because you wanted, basically, I think we got the same thing from that we had gotten before. So received the agreement for services as well as professional services agreement between Labella and the town of Berry. Talk about everything, the people that would be involved with the whole process. And as Barbara had pointed out to us, it would take about a 1-year time span to do this. They also would be writing the grant so that we get a portion of this paid for through the grant. And in our workshop, we were talking about utilizing ARPA funds to help pay for the rest of it. Any discussion?
Say just because like I know that we had talked about it, I know it's verbalized, but when I looked through, I didn't see where it said that they would do the grant. Maybe I missed that portion.
Sure, sure. She doesn't have it in this letter. That was something, it seems to me she said that would be completely separate for the design and submission of the grant to, was it Ag and Markets? Okay. I remember her saying it when I was here when she was being interviewed by the planning board. But I do not see it on here, description.
Really Thunderberry having looked at previous comprehensive plan as well as grant funding for infrastructure improvements, but that's not
Right.
grant funding for the comprehensive.
Gentlemen, you're both from the planning board. She did specifically state that she would assist the town insofar as putting together the grant to Ag and Market, which was the easier one to get. There's two grants. Yes. And that statewide one or two. I'm sorry? Yeah.
So that they would write the grant. We would still be responsible for the 1,500 for applying for the grant. I just want to just make sure, because that wasn't part of the budget. It wasn't in the budget that was provided.
Now, it seemed to me that when they were both, they said that was completely separate too. Applying for the grant, it would be a separate entity.
Start planning, but then markets. But now we're pressing.
Did that include the farmland protection aspect and
Yes.
that component?
Yes, it did.
All the components.
No, I'll say.
Okay. Any other questions with this?
The only other question is I just was hoping when we talked last time, just looking at what the other, I thought we had said, if the other company, just making sure that it was apples to apples and not apples to oranges as far as what was being covered. I know that what I heard is that they were covering, the survey was included in their budget, but for Labella, but the other firm had a higher cost and was not including the survey.
About $6,000 more, wasn't it? With Wendell?
the other experience. We didn't look.
Right. Add more. Right. I move that we use Labella as the firm for completing the comprehensive plan. Assuming that they'll do the grant and,
I'll
Grant-
emphasize that.
grant process and, yeah.
All in favor? Opposed? So carried. Contact Barbara tomorrow and inform her of such and get the ball rolling with her. And inform her as well that we expect the grant. We'll get that portion going ASAP for the grant.
We do raise, in regards to that. In reading through, the contract with Labella, I saw that one of our responsibilities is to, client's responsibility, client shall designate a representative authorized to act on its behalf with respect to the project. All notices required under this agreement shall be given to that representative. And I move that Dr. George McKenna is a designated representative and serves as the chair of.
Hold on. What
Sorry.
page is that now? Let me check this out.
Copied and pasted it. It is under terms and conditions. It's page 15.
Terms and conditions. Okay, the client shall designate a representative authorized to act on its behalf with respect to the project. All notices required under this agreement shall be given to the representative. Client shall provide Labella with all available information regarding and site access to the project necessary for Labella to perform its professional services, including client's requirements for the project.
Well, I've definitely I've been pushing this for 3-4 years, so I'm okay with it. Yeah.
If client does not perform destructive testing or investigation nor provide information beyond that which is apparent by non-intrusive observations, or in the event documentation or information furnished by the client is inaccurate or incomplete, then any resulting damages, losses, and expenses, including the cost of Labella's changes in services or additional services, shall be borne by the client.
So talking about that, when they're saying that, why, one of the questions that I had is, why is Labella carrying so much insurance? I just didn't understand why they had that up. Am I missing something here that this is,
Dangerous.
they're taking a large risk for it? I mean, I don't understand why they clearly.
Like a $10 million umbrella and
Yeah.
my,
They're saying Labella shall maintain at its own expense throughout the term of this agreement and until the expiration of all applicable statutes of limitation, the following insurance coverages, of which, yes, an umbrella policy of 10 million, automobile liability of 1 million, and a comprehensive general liability insurance policy of not less than 1 million, each occurrence 2 million in the aggregate for bodily injury or property damage. Are we gonna beat her
My-
up?
That's what I don't understand. What?
I think my thought, I could be wrong on this, but they do like, they look at like actual construction sites and things like
Yeah.
that too. And I think it's just their standard
Somebody's gonna get.
contract that
Yeah.
they, just to protect their employees and us if something.
Well, that's not that, that's, I'm saying it's not that far out.
Okay.
And it says that they carry it, it's not at an expense to us.
I just wondered why they're carrying that. Are they expecting them, problems? Yeah.
Here, I think you gotta sign both pages.
That's weird.
No, well, that one has to have signature, no? Look that over. That's another document altogether. There's two separate documents. Sign it anyways to be safe. Please. Okay, any other discussion about George being the representative from the board? Well, I think as we talked about before, we'd have a representative from the planning board, we'll have a representative from the zoning board, and we will have a representative from the town board. And then we have community members. Okay. So is there any discussion about that? Now remember, unbiased opinion on this, George. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I missed it. I'm sorry.
Haven't had a vote.
No vote as of yet. Okay, no other discussion? Okay, then, all in favor? Opposed? So carried.
You're gonna check in.
The grant, yes. This needs. What's it? Okay. Moving on then, reports. Nope. Book back. Okay, my report, total receipts for the month. For the month of July were $114,660. Town expenses were 336,714. Which means we have utilized 57.92% of our annual budget. Town highway has used $615,923, which is 46% of the annual budget for 2023. Highway. Mr. Dale. I'm glad you brought that, and I was gonna point that out under park here when that day. Jason said he will be here to give an update, a report, a master plan as such. So he will be at our next board meeting in September.
Good.
Yes.
I wanna give a, from last time we talked about the conditions of the field and that, I walked them last week, they're like 90% up. Doing it. Yep, great job. Great.
We also, hopefully by the end of this month, that a meter box should be shipped, hopefully. Then we can get National Grid out there. I told the gentleman from Ambient Energy, Ambient, whatever, RTO.
Yeah.
Okay, you met him before, you opened the gate down there so they can put the equipment up on the tower. I told him to contact you about going down and doing some site work. I said we won't be receiving that meter box till the end of this month, hopefully. I said we have no electric back there yet because we don't have that meter box. But he wanted to check out the place. He wants to know if there's a place inside the building where they can put a rack. I told him that the area of coverage would be right there, you know, the ball fields, parking lot, that area right there, not the whole park. There's no need for it, but right there in that immediate area, right there is all we're looking. So he said, easy. So he'll be contacting you. I also want to thank you for taking out those rugs. You manhandled them, old man. You took all our rugs that are on the carpeting. Get this over here. Dale Brooks manhandled all the carpeting from our floors in here out back. And I used their new power washer and I power washed all those rugs. And then Dale manhandled them all back in again. No coronary, thank God. So anyways, thank you, Dale, for that. We got all our rugs all nice and clean again. Assessor's report, you have that. Anything else, Dale, before I move on? Okay. I'm sorry, town clerk. I'm just used to flipping pages and it's right in an order, and you don't give me anything until now. So we brought in $1,361 this month, last month. Planning, building permits, special use permits, and dog registrations. We had a lot of dog registrations. Okay. Stephanie's report there, the assessor's report. You have that. There are 3 homes on the market. Total assessed value is 294,000. Listing price is a total of 574,000. Average listing price is 192, which is a 64.5% increase over last year. Quarterly sales, well, we sold 3 homes. Average sale price was $160,000. And land sales, there were 4 land sales. Average land sale was $136,450 for a 61.5% increase in value. Code enforcement, everybody got a copy of that, right? I believe she put them in your mailboxes. Okay. We had 8 permits were handed out in the month of July. One thing I have requested Shelley to start doing on this report, we have talked about it in the past, and I emailed her asking her to please start in that last column. You'll see where she has a comment withdrawn or pending information. And I think there was one more. Yeah, variance granted. Status. What's the outcome? Where are we with this project? I mean, you take a look at, this one here, demo existing structures. Well, have they been demoed? What's the status on that at this time? Are they gone? Is the land reclaimed, nice and clean and cleaned up? Or is just a pile of rubble laying there now? So I have requested for her to start putting the status of each one of these in that last column. All we ever see is, yeah, they got a permit, but where are we with those items? Okay, planning, Margaret. Next week, 6:30, huh? Next Monday, August 14th. Anything special? Anything you want to talk about from last planning board meeting? Okay. Very good. Zoning Board of Appeals. Carrie?
And I have not heard of any additional meetings.
If they do have another meeting, it would be August 21st at 7 p.m. If they are having another meeting. Yeah, there's hit or miss with these guys. With that committee, I should say. Yes. Yes. You got one opening, you got one person. I would highly recommend you sit and talk with them, but doing a formal interview, I mean, I'd say an informal. Get to know them and decide. I mean, it's tough to get people. Okay. No, I did. You got one opening, one person. Well, that's why I was going to give it to your committee persons, which means your chairs will probably turn around and give it right back to Leah and do it anyway. So, yeah. Okay, on the park, as I point out, Jason Foote will be here next month to do a presentation on the master plan for the park. Anything else, Dave, that you know of? Because I don't know anything else. Out of curiosity, and I questioned him on this, and I haven't heard back from him. Is it his master plan or is it something that the committee had talked about? I don't want. Nada. Okay. George,
So I tried call, tried email, I both again, now that I have that out there, just kind of see what, you know, if I can talk to somebody. think would be better.
I think this is what I forwarded to you.
Yep,
Okay.
and that's what I reached out, I have a thing somewhere that says that that's what I talked about. I did have a question while that I wanted to bring up, and if it's not relevant to say, no, I'm not talking. What credit card are we using right now? And this may not be, that's where it might not be legal, we may not be okay. Are you with this, but are we getting any points or anything from our credit card? Because my proposal is if we're not, maybe we should pick up a Hilton credit card or something. Because a lot of, I mean, that looks like most of our going to meetings and that, they're held at Hilton. And maybe we can start, use probably in the points and stays or.
Then what do we do with points?
That's what I'm saying. Use them for stays for when they're going to, when they go to meetings. Dale goes and Maureen goes.
But it has to be a specific.
Hotel, so it's Hilton, and that's where most of them are at. I don't know if that's.
Is that part of Hilton?
No.
You?
Can a town take advantage? No.
So in other words, every time that we utilize a Hilton credit card for like all the materials he buys, the meetings that I attend, stuff that Maureen purchases because we're the only three with credit cards. Then that would accumulate points that could be applied towards his stay because he's the only one that.
And usually with the credit card, you get a free. Well, ones that we have, you get a free night stay every year. So, yeah.
And it doesn't.
Just a thought.
And it doesn't have to be a specific name. I mean, here we have three separate cards with three different names, but can it come together as a cumulative number of points? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
As a corporate, because of being a municipal,
So, but what are we using now? What is it? Just a
five
card or
just 5-star.
so? I don't know. If they allow you to do it, I think it'll be. Well,
And that is affiliated with the Hilton. It's not part of Cornell. Yeah, they run it off. Cause I stayed down there when I did a presentation at a conference down there with attorneys there 2 years ago. Yes, yes. Okay, I'll check into that. Of course, you're gonna have to review everything before I sign it.
I have.
Yeah. Yes, you are.
Get the lowest fees.
Okay. That leaves us to you. Keep on talking. Get your mic over there.
The planning board asked me to look into an issue related to modifications to wireless towers and what powers the town has to review those modifications, and I had sent handed Sean and the planning board chairs, Shelley, a memo and a new proposed wireless tower application form that should streamline the review process for Shelley. When she's looking at it, she should be able to more easily make a determination and quickly get it to the right person, because there are some very tight timelines there.
That's not anything that like we need to pass or like as a resolution or anything. She
No.
can start using if she likes it or wants to make any tweaks, she can just start using it.
Correct. So, I just wanted to report that just changed things.
So question on Dylan on that. Is there any way we can recoup fees from, okay. You already know what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, no, the question came up in the context of what the comment that you already. In a perfect world, yes, but sadly, no.
Okay. That's it. Do I hear a motion? David, Margaret? All in favor? Opposed? So carried. Thank you, everyone.
No,
We can carry it.
No, I didn't touch it, but it was off.